welcome everyone in another episode of Researcher Celebrity. But today it's a special. We are honored to have Professor Shubha Srinivasan. And in honor of ma'am, we are starting a month of Women in STEM, specially dedicated for women researchers from India, working in India or working abroad, but from Indian origin. So we are privileged to have you, ma'am. Welcome and thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thank you so much, Raja, for thinking about me.
Yeah, so a brief about Professor Shobha, because if I'll go more, this entire introduction will take more than what we do the video for. So, ma'am was born and brought up in Jamshedpur, India. She attended college for BSc for bachelor's and masters at Ranchi University because she had this passion to do science and nothing can stop. Even if Jamshedpur doesn't have schools, she'll move to Ranchi to have that. And then she did her PhD from Madras University and left India for betterment of India. She did a in postdoc at Roosevelt Park Memorial Institute in Buffalo, New York. And since then, she has joined industries, developed industries, being an entrepreneur. Now, presently, she is a professor at IBAB in Bangalore, and she is not done yet. She is still starting. She is as enthusiastic as a student going for the first day in the kindergarten, and you will see it soon. So, here I will pause myself and ask you the first question, ma'am, which is our researcher celebrity tag question, that how and when you decided that you want to be a researcher.
Okay. So I'm the fifth child in a row. We had big families those days. So fifth child, and I will always get teased. And I like science. Okay, I like science. I have heard about Nobel laureate, and my mom will tell me stories about her distant family member, how they got it, and all that kind of thing. So we do belong to a chain, but I've never seen them, and I've never felt it. But so when my older sisters were teasing me, I'll say that, oh, don't bother teasing your future Nobel laureate, okay? So you guys are going to regret it. so that so this not that Nobel or anything, but it's like science. It's so how the physics works, even the engineering part, anything, how it happens, how it's functioning. Just knowing the nuances of that really excited me, and math was something I loved it. Simple math, not abstract math, but simple math. I loved math. So those are the two subjects. Not knowing I'm going to be scientist, I just liked it. Maybe it is in the blood, maybe it's in the genetics, I don't know. I just liked it. The school I'll go and I'm doing math problem during my Sanskrit class and I got caught many times. Okay. And then what will she say? She'll say, Subha, you cannot get more than 100% in math. So do a little bit of Sanskrit. So she wasn't getting mad. She knows that I liked math. That's what I'm doing. I'm not goofing around, watching video or something.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, very early on, science was the thing. But many times I gotten lost. It's not that, life is long and there are many turns. For women especially, there are many twists and turns. I really wanted to be an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And my dad couldn't send me either because of finance or because I was a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Those days, it's not soft engineering. It was all hard engineering. You had to work on the floor and stuff like that. So I couldn't do engineering. That still bothers me. But then physics was the next decent thing I could do. And of course, physics and math. After that, what? I had no idea. PhD and stuff with Ranchi, going to Ranchi and doing it, not having anything at home. Still, financial struggle was definitely there those days. My father had too many kids. Everyone he has to educate.
Yeah.
That's one thing my mom and dad. Everyone has to get the highest education that they can give. Colleges were not that expensive those days, so but still sending them to hostel, sending money for that. So that so the science was there, but if I can go on, can I go on?
Yes, please.
So there was after a master's, I was sick and tired of dorm, so I don't want to go to Ranchi. There's nothing I can do in Jamshedpur. To be frank, I got tuberculosis at that time after 5 years of hostel and bad food and everything. So I was bedridden for a whole year. That's why I'm saying it wasn't a smooth, like a planned it, everything happened. I'm lying down, getting better. And then the next year, I don't know what's going on. Okay, I said, okay, I'll apply for National Metallurgical Lab. There was one in Jamshedpur. I took as a lab scientist there, and I was working there. That was fun. Going out and getting my own money in my pocket for the first time. That was good. So that was also research because spectroscopy is what we had to, X-ray fluorescence is what we were using. That was very interesting. Okay, and then the best break I got, believe it or not, for women, they won't believe it, I got married.
Mm-hmm.
That was the best break for me because that took me to Chennai.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Where everything is there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went into, not believe it if I say it, I went into a family that I didn't know. It was an arranged marriage. I went into a family and I was in a joint family with mother-in-law, father-in-law, other brother-in-law, her daughter, her son, everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was cool though. I was too excited about new city and everything like that. And I had no idea what I'm going to do. I was bored. Then one point I want to make for everybody, you need huge family support, Raja, for women. So, but you have the, research in your background, that doesn't go away. But unless your family is with you and you get an opportunity to do it, it's really hard. Yeah. So one of the things that happened was my father-in-law, I'm not cooking because my mother-in-law will cook because I don't know the nuances of cooking clean and everything, right? Like, so a typical Chennai Brahmin family. So then my father-in-law looked at me one day, said, why you finished MSc, you're sitting home? I said, I don't know what else to do. He said, oh, dress up. I'm going to take you to meet a friend of mine. So we both took a bus and all that. We went. Guess where he took me?
Yes,
He took me to the Department of Biophysics, G.N. Ramachandran's founding lab, and he made me meet the director of the department, R. Srinivasan. Okay. And my grandfather was like in a dhoti with a tundu, with a towel. And he's like a simple man. He's retired retired high school teacher. Okay. So anyway, I don't know how he knows these people. And he said, yeah, go meet him. And then I had the interview right at that time. Professor Srinivasan collected everybody. Yatindra was also there, who is now the head, who was the director of Yatindra, and other people. Everybody came and I had an interview. I got selected. Okay. Now I was supposed to get assigned to somebody. And then, in the meantime, I was pregnant. So I had I was expecting a baby. So 1977, I think December, when my eldest boy was 30 days old, I started going to do this. I wasn't going to leave that opportunity. So you know how much happened between masters and this, but the excitement was still there. Oh my God. And my PhD days were the best days for me. Not because everything went right. Everything went, in fact, wrong. Okay. So first I was assigned to a professor. He will never show up. He was having a garment industry and he will go to his garment place every day and will never show up in the department. Okay. I'm saying that loud because this really happened. Okay. And then for 6 months, 7 months, few of us were assigned under him. Boys will go to his garment shop and find out. But I have family. I have a boy in the house, so I couldn't go there. So whatever they will do. I will do library. First time I've seen a library. First time I've seen journal articles. So I was just enjoying it. No pressure on anything, right? Okay. And then finally he didn't ever come back. So we were assigned to another professor, K. Sundaram, who was my PhD supervisor. But soon after we joined under him, he was to come to United States for 2 years sabbatical. So it's 2 years, some position in NASA, right here. Okay. So I said, there was no communication, no email, nothing. Those days you have to get letter from him, right?
Yes.
All we will do is go to the library, spend our time, chat a little bit, have some coffee here and there, and go home and that kind of thing. In between, we'll do some science. But Professor Sundaram's credit, he had so many nuggets of ideas. He won't assign projects to anybody like I do for my students now. I'm really babysitting them. But he'll just say, that's a circular molecule there. It'll be nice to, find some constraint and close it and come up with a structure, crystal structure like model, right? So anyway, he will every one of us will pick up something, and I did pick up something. And that's what I was doing. While I'm doing research, I'll pick up that. How do you close the circle and have a three-fold symmetry and all that? Anyway, when I was doing that, then of course, when he was gone, and every two months we will get a letter. The thin sheet they will write. I don't know whether you guys are aware. And 5 or 6 pages, but it won't be bulky. We'll read it line by line by line several times as if it is a research paper, just to see whether in between line there is some idea that's coming in. Okay, so pathetic. So this is another one for the girl student. Okay, yeah, we were all a little bored and we didn't need a direction. 6 of us actually under him. All 6 of us will talk about it and get bored. Then I said, you know what? I'm not wasting this time. I'm going to have a baby. Okay, so my boy student, who were my colleagues, they said, what are we going to do? I said, I don't know. I don't know. Women have some benefit at times and you need to utilize it. And that I'm making it strong to girls. It's like you get opportunity, every opportunity. So I wanted to do research, I got an opportunity. Now I have to make babies too. Women have so many things they have to do in their life, one life. You can't get too old and have babies. So everything has to go parallel, right? So you just take it easy and let things happen. That's one thing. So of course I had the second child, and by the time Sundaram came back in 82. He was 1.5 years old, and he looked at what I have done, and he said, "Oh, your thesis is complete." Little by little, nugget by nugget, every day doing something, writing programs, going to IIT Madras and submitting the job and bringing up the syntax error. Those things people won't even understand. The card punch days. Are you familiar with that? Yes. You got to punch a card, and each line of a code is a punched card. And one thing I'll say, the type of fun we had during that time, we were 6 students. Out of that, 2 of us were very, very close, and lot of fun. We copied each other, we competed with each other. Everything I did. His name was Radhakrishnan. Okay, I hope he sees this video at one point. Okay, so I lost touch with him, but he would, what are you doing? Okay, because it's a common computer, everybody can look over what you're doing, and then he'll do it. And I'll keep checking on what he was able to do more than me because he was a boy, went into computer center and all that kind of thing. But the card readers, if it is 1,000-line code for youngsters now, then you have 1,000 cards, one after the other, just like the linear lines you write, right? So the 1,000 cards will be read in a reader. Okay. And the reader will send each information to the CPU and it will execute. Okay, that's how it happened. But the card reader will often get shuffled. Oh my God. Okay, next day you come, you didn't put that card there, but one card came before that, so hence the code won't work. Every time that happened, I'll straight go to Radhakrishnan and tell him, you did sabotage my thing. You just shuffled my cards. Okay, he will be so... he will appear so sad, but he never got mad. Okay. He'll say, ma'am, this is outrageous. How can you say this? I said, who else will do it? Okay. So anyway, but we were friends until the end. And, so yeah, it was difficult, but somehow we finished it. That was my PhD days. And after that, that's also a very important lesson. First time after I did my PhD, I said, I was running with this PhD, with this thesis, with having babies, taking care of... I was getting tired. And I know every woman will at one point, too much, right? And so I said, and my husband wasn't even working at that time, wasn't working in Chennai. He was in Madurai, he was in Hubli, someplace. So first time I said, okay, I'm done with now it is time for me to go settle with him. So I moved to Madurai. from Chennai, which I kind of regret it even now. But went to Madurai. First time I'm like a family, but I can't get job because every college I wanted to teach is you're Brahmin. Reverse discrimination is so rampant. They said the quota is filled already. We already have too many Brahmins. They'll say this in your face. It's not like you have to say it under the table or anything. Lady Dog, Fatima College, and some other college. And schools, when I went for my kids' boys' school, you're too qualified. You will leave as soon as you get something better. So I could not find job. 1 year I found a leave vacancy in American college, and after that it came to an end. When the teacher came back, I got kicked out. So that is when I really had to start applying. It wasn't like, so the research minded is right there in the background, but you're going to look at opportunity, and when it happens, you're going to jump into it. I said, okay, I'm going abroad. I'm going to start applying. I don't even know who I applied and where else applied. I did apply and I got it in Russell Park. And of course, again, you get it in Russell Park those days. I don't know these days how women handle it, but I had two boys. I wasn't going to bring them to Russell Park without, I have no idea where I'm going, what I'm doing, okay? So I was going to leave them behind. I did leave them behind. And my mother couldn't take care of them, but again, there it was my father-in-law. This time it was my mother-in-law. She was sick, getting sick. But I said, I don't know. I got the visa and everything, but I don't think I'll be able to go because who will take care of the kids? My mom couldn't come. Within a fraction of a second, she said, don't worry, 6 months, I'm sick, but 6 months I'll take care of them. Okay. So it's a lot of help you need. I'm sure a lot of families, you don't get that kind of help. So if I have to say that I did anything better in my life, I got to think about every one of them then. Every one of these people who created, there was opportunity, but they made me use that opportunity. Okay. So she kept the kids. It was lonely 6 months in Roswell Park, but correct. 4th of April, I landed here. And 4th of October, I was supposed to go back. And then at that time, I was to give my PhD viva, defend my thesis. So there also, my father-in-law helped me a lot to set up a date because Madras University was all over the place. So I do have what I wrote as my PhD days. I have some write-ups all those years. So much happened now. I cannot imagine how did I do it? What happened? What is that? The research energy? I don't know. Okay, but some energy for sure. I think you get into the groove and you have to do it. You have to do it. You have to do it. And then with the boys, I came here, and then that's when I finished my PhD. I mean, finished my postdoc days. So, do you want me to continue or?
Yeah, here I think like we will go on from here, but here I remember a saying by John A. Shedd, and I believe this is true for most of the enthusiastic researchers like you. He said that a ship is in the harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for.
Okay.
You said the best thing happened to you was marriage. You were kind of happy. The researcher inside you. And that's how, if you have the intention, and this is one thing which I always try to share with all our researcher community, that if you have just the intent, it is good enough for you to at least see the opportunity.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have that, there are and that is one of the basic definitions of research also, that everyone sees the same question, but the researchers, 10 researchers bring up 10 different questions out of the same statement. And that is what make it unique. Man, your journey, what we have seen, nowadays, I am not 100% sure how many young girls can actually correlate with that. But just because coming from some with background of this, I can totally understand that when there was no internet. Now applying for postdoc is so easy. You sit on a computer and you do that. But what you have achieved is the milestone, and no wonder your students from IBAB and from worldwide praises you, sees you as a mentor, as a mother. As you said, all the sacrifices a mother has to make, the women have to go through. So when you were pursuing your research, either it be following for the PhD, when you came to States, the role of family is so evident. You have already mentioned that they were the one who made you pick all your choices. But after your postdoc, the researcher wanted to go back to India, or you wanted to do something more significant here?
In 1987, 84 was a very difficult time when I couldn't find a job. And those were the worst years in my life, I can say, 1984, 83, 84, because I didn't know, I couldn't find teaching job. And that is when also first time I realized that I am truly someone who wants to do something. This family alone is not going to help. I had 2 young kids. I could have been happy cooking for them and everything, but that didn't fill my table. Okay, for the first time I realized, oh my God, it's not like this I'm doing just because I don't have anything else to do. I have some calling, I don't know, each one is born for something, they say, maybe that's when I realized. I said, no, I didn't do need to get out of the jam. When I got out and I came here in 87, of course, for a very small period, I even got deported because my visa application and this didn't match. And, for a few days I was visa-less, all those crazy things, those are too much for this interview. But all those experiences happened. And then I wasn't sure that India is ready for researchers at that point. India really had a break in 1991. You may even be too young. 1991 में मनमोहन सिंह ने जब India was in the bankruptcy stage at that time. I think 84 to 91, India was really bad shape economically, poverty, opportunity, everything. We have seen so many movies where, college student doesn't get even to sell a cup of tea or somewhere. So I was kind of not even thinking. I was reluctant. And when you have kids now, also I see many families, they're reluctant to go back because the kids get a hang of this country, and they'll be able to fit in a word. So no, I did not try to go back at that time. So I think I decided that I'm going to do science. That's when my real scientific curiosity came, and so much is happening. And one thing I'll tell you, during the postdoc time, we are so resourceless in India. And so if you have a lot of ideas, so you keep cooking up in your head. When I came for postdoc, I could put everything into action. I didn't have to think for the next 4 years. I just, whatever I've thought already, I have to apply it. So it's not like we're not doing anything in India. It's like brains are getting ideas, but we're not able to, at that time at least. Now I think I'm actually advising my students not even bother going anywhere. Do it in India. India is good. It's why leave family? Because I've been through that. Although I liked science so much that I didn't miss it that much. But, if I could do it with everyone around, it would have been so great. For people who helped me, they couldn't even see me what I was doing. So I tell them it's not worth it now because of all the opportunities there. And that is one of the things also I feel like I always felt like I have to give back, because our college education didn't cost us anything. I never paid tax in India. I paid tax in the United States. And I want to retire in India. That was my goal. I want to, die in India, not even retire. I want to die in India. That was my goal. And I said, I can't go there, die without paying taxes. So I'm so happy that I got this Ramalanga Swami fellowship and not just pay taxes, but I'm able to tell people, give them everything I learned. Okay, so that is really, really a good part. And one of the thing, can I continue?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So one of the thing my master's one was in your third question. I know that scientifically, what did you do? That was your question. So I was going to go to that. So MSc I did in crystallography. Okay, crystallography was the only big thing happening in Ranchi at that time. I could understand the phase problem for crystallography because I loved optics. But you had to calculate everything. There was no computer. You had to Fourier transform everything by matching the cards and the holes and everything. It was too much. Okay. So because of that, I went into computation, structure and everything. So when I got 5 years after my master's, when I went to GNR, University of Madras Biophysics Department, at that time I could connect everything. It was a crystallography lab. So, but I wanted to do crystallography too. I even collected crystal structure for small organic molecule and everything. But then since I got pregnant, I said, I'm not going to go into that crazy X-ray lab anymore. Because, you had to place the lead sheet without forgetting after you turn on the X-ray. So I'm sure many people got zapped. I know many from India, from that particular lab, died of brain cancer. Okay. I know a few people in Buffalo, New York. So in any event, so starting from that and going into computation, that became computational biology eventually. And so, of course, protein structure was the biggest thing. Okay. The trahedral angle and everything. So I have to thank Professor Sundaram. I hope he hears this call. Professor Sundaram for teaching us about everything about protein structure. And he also, how we learned programming those days? We didn't have Srivatsan sir teaching programming and that kind of thing. We had to pore over long lines of code that somebody has already written. So Professor Sundaram had written a lot of codes like that when he was in the US in the previous trip. And he will give each one of us one of his codes. Say, go, read this and modify this for accomplishing that goal. So computer programming, we learned. Protein structure, we learned. Everything we learned in biophysics department. And then here slowly we started applying and everything. So at Immunex, protein folding, Immunex, when I got hired, it's not like anybody going to ask me what to do. I was like a freebie researcher, right? I was allowed to hire 3-4 people, and we wrote a lot of programs and we had a lot of fun. But we were really on to solving the protein folding problem. Okay. So, and at one point, I think we were getting frustrated because it couldn't be done de novo. Okay, I realized it. And my researchers are also realizing it's not possible. So one of the last thing we did that connects today with the AlphaFold, which is a big thing happening today in protein fold prediction. David Baker, who has a site, RobertaFold, where everybody can fold their protein, he was only doing research 4 miles away from us. Okay. And we had a paper where we could change the file inside. We made a database of all the dipeptide from PDB structure. And from that, we'll pick the dimer. So here is a protein. So you will take dimer by dimer. Okay. And you will dip into the dimer database and plug it, almost like a Lego piece. So that is how we were modeling loops. So the homology, for the core of the protein, you used homology. And for the loops, because loops will be different from protein to protein, we'll do this plug and play. At that time, he called us. He was very young at that time. Okay, very ambitious. He said, okay, why don't you give a talk in University of Washington? We loved it. So we went and talked. That I remember. Then we moved in a company. They said, okay, we can't afford to do this fool around with protein folding anymore. Genome sequences are coming.
Yes.
At that time, EHT sequencing was big in 93, 94, right? And we wanted to discover normal genes. So they moved all of us to that, and we stopped working on protein folding. That was the last connection I had to protein folding. Every time I see David Baker making a difference, I think, oh my God, this guy is relentlessly working. That's one researcher who tells me that for the sake of the same thing, you have to work so many years in the same thing to make a small dent.
Yes.
That kind of patience you need. You call ourselves researcher. Sometimes you get, oh, I can go do this, I can do that. For me, I didn't continue in protein folding because of 2 reasons. One is I wanted to do de novo. And at that point, I realized that it cannot be done de novo. And to do it empirically, computers were not ready at that time. Now it is. Okay.
Yes.
Now it is AI, MI, all that is happening. So very, very glad that I was a small part of that. And to be very frank, when I'm reading the AlphaFold paper, the same concept is still there. You take the dipeptide and keep plugging in. And every time you plug a dipeptide, if it's the wrong one, so here is your one helix, here is another helix, that's a loop. If one phi is wrong, then this helix will go here, 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 all over the place. Okay. Only when the correct conformation comes, they will sit like this. So that is the idea. He's still using that in the AlphaFold, of course, much more modified and everything. I'm not going to take all the credit there, but he went in the same line. That was a good thing. But that is when we shifted from protein structure, rational drug design we were doing. Too many papers in that also. How to put a pocket and how to get the shape of the pocket and design a chemistry that fits that shape, that kind of thing. So, but that we left and we went into genomics, gene discovery mode. Since then, I have been doing genomics, and then, yeah.
So, ma'am, being a mother, a professor, an entrepreneur, how was the work-life balance?
Work-life balance, my kids still love me, okay? So if that makes a difference. I think the work took so much out of you. 9 to 5, you had to go. It's not like work from home or anything. 9 o'clock, you go. 8 o'clock, you have to catch the bus or car or whatever it is. 1 hour before you have to leave. 9 to 5, and the kids were really young, and my house was a little farther. They cooperated with me, Raja. How I was talking about my parent-in-laws and all that. Then later in my age, my children cooperated with me. I sometimes say that if I have a house today and I bought it, it's all by mortgaging my children's life. I could not pay attention. Now there is a PTA mom. They take them to game, this, that. I'm not even there to, sometimes in winter in Seattle, it gets really cold and dark, 4 o'clock. By the time I come, it will be 6. My younger one had lost the key to the house and he's sitting outside right next to the garbage can, waiting for me to come. No phone.
Yeah.
You have to realize that there's no cell phone, nothing. If you're lost, you're sitting there. Patience. Maybe they learned to be patient from me.
Yeah.
Maybe they learned to think that mom will be here no matter what. Yeah. Okay. You just have to wait. Okay. So now they say that they didn't have a difficult life at all. So I'm like, oh my God, I got lucky, Raja. I got to tell. I got lucky.
I think this is the modesty which you say is, I believe that it is the choices which everyone has to make. And there is a quote like, everyone has to choose one thing or the other. The pain is inevitable. Either you take the pain of discipline or a pain of regret. You chose the discipline, and now, as you said, the patience coming from you to the kids and supporting you because you decided that you want to be a researcher. And now when we are towards the last phase of our conversation, for us, there is no questions asked. You are an idol, a role model for so many researchers around the world, not only in India. Do you see yourself as a researcher celebrity?
Second, do you see
yourself? Do you consider yourself as a researcher celebrity?
I don't think I need to consider anything. I'm too happy. If people think I'm celebrity, that's okay. I'll take it. Very namaste. But really, I'm enjoying every minute of everything I'm doing. I know students, girl students especially, they always say it very loud. Excuse me, very loudly that, ma'am, we look up to you. How do you do it? Part of it is because the way I do it. Part of it is also, I think, Raja, they haven't seen a senior women scientists continue to do research in life. There are male scientists, many, many male scientists in their 70s and 80s, they're still working. Women, they're very few, okay? And so that's also, it's like, oh my God, how do you come and do it? How do you come all the way to India just to teach here? That's something they cannot, but I'm enjoying it. I'm not coming there to teach. I'm there, I'm learning and I'm having fun, that kind of thing. I'll tell you, one of the students recently, 2 year batch, 2 years back, yeah. That batch student texted me. They're all on my WhatsApp. Every student that I've done project with, they're on WhatsApp. She texted me. Sometimes I don't recognize their names, but I know I put 06, 07, which batch it is. Okay. So Sujata or something like that. So I asked her, hi. She said, hi, ma'am, how are you doing? I said, hi, how are you doing? And then she said, hi, ma'am, I'm doing fine. How are you? And I said, hey, you want to talk or you want to chit chat or how can I help? You know, just maybe I thought she wants reference. That always keeps on happening. She said, ma'am, I really wanted to just chat. I was in trouble in my company, and many people have been shuffled from one department to another, and there was a low morale in my company, and I was too down. And then I thought about you, like how year after year after year you come back and it's the same enthusiasm, you're teaching everybody the same thing. And I thought about you and I felt energetic, and that's why I wanted to call you. So think like that. So I was happy that it's not just the lessons I have taught. It's like with our personality, we are also giving them something more. So a couple of more examples like that. One student came here actually. I brought her for the PAG conference, and she was in my place, this same home. She was here. And before leaving, she said bye and went. And then, but after that, we saw a small note on my computer. She said to me and my husband, she said, I learned more than science from you guys. Thank you. So it's just, sometimes you don't intend to, that's who you are. And so I'm definitely very happy that aspect of it is coming without my effort.
Sweet.
I'm just trying to teach and have fun, so yeah.
And this is the role of a mentor. It is not just to tell them what they can do, it is walking with them and taking them to their destinations where they dreams of, where they want to be. That's the mentor who just take out all the fill all the gaps, like what they know, what they need to know. And this is one thing. Whenever we talk about women researchers, there is always this comparison comes like men versus women, males are better. Here, the words from Srimati Indira Gandhi, she said such a nice statement about it, that to be liberated, woman must feel free to be herself, not in rivalry to men, but in the context of her own capacity and her own personality. And I see you as a perfect person who has lived it this way, never compared to men, but excelled more than anything else but the research.
Thank you.
We were fortunate enough to have you, ma'am, and we look forward for your guidance and support. At Researcher Celebrity, what we do is we celebrate every single researcher. At any stage of their career, they can be a master student doing research, you being professor, and whatnot, whatever a researcher can think they can be in their life, you have walked all those paths. Now, when you see that if a researcher, as you said, your students and your collaborators, your word of wisdom for them at the last part of the conversation.
Yeah. There are two words, time and patience. Especially if you're a woman. It's maybe in men also, it's not straight, but they don't have many biological roles that they play and their emotions that they have to handle, and family they have to handle. As I said, you have to get a lot of family support. You just have to help them to help you. So that time and patience, sometimes it works right away, sometimes it doesn't work that way. At one point in my life, I also had to stay with my sister-in-law, and we had problems. So I had to find my own house and go, that kind of thing. So time and patience. You just have to say, okay, this is not the end of the world. Okay, not the end of the world. It'll fix. You just keep doing what you need to do. Yeah, you have kids, you have a husband, you have food to make, you have, maid to take care and all that. So that's a thing. And don't ever give up. Yes, it's going to go slow for women. There's no doubt, and there's no way we can say that that's because of discrimination. It's just biology.
Mm-hmm.
It is just biology. And you said that if you put, as Indira Gandhi's statement, you said, to me, I feel like we are trapped under our biological.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we should be proud of that.
Yes.
That's why I gave that example of I'm going to have baby, and what are the boys going to do? They're going to waste their time. Okay.
That is the attitude. That is the attitude. We salute.
Yeah. So, but that, because of that, we have to go other way. We have to get detour and all that kind of thing. But it's not slowing down anything. It's adding.
Yes.
It's overall adding. Who says that you got to be in the top in that particular spot? It's a journey.
Yes.
It's a journey, and you have so much happening. One day, research doesn't yield results. It's okay. You made a great food for your child.
Yes.
And you played with him, and he's happy. So it's a cumulative thing that. So I think as a woman student, they have to appreciate. For men, also, they don't need to compete with anything. For men also, I know a lot of men struggle a lot. At least what I have seen are women get a lot of support from especially when they're not married, they get a lot of support from the family. With boys, I'll tell what happened, because I have a lot of boy students who really did well. For them, there's always constant pressure from the family. When are you going to finish PhD? When are you going to take care of us? We're getting sick. You need to get married. So women luckily are escaping it. You would think that this current generation, women are escaping that. The parents are really okay. They're patient and happy, but for boys, that's not the case. So they have to be patient, and some of them I have seen going through that, but they did well. Okay, they also need time and patience. You just let things happen. You do what you can. That's the only thing you can control. Rest of the thing you leave it to others.
Yeah. So here I would just say a couple of words to the viewers and the audience, that as Professor Shobha said, it is the time and the patience. You have to be more patient, and the time will come and you'll click. Another thing which I believe that all of the viewers, whosoever is watching this video, will agree with me that the amount of positivity Shubha ma'am brings, she is the sun of the world for the researchers. And today we are starting this women special for our researcher celebrity series. So I believe that we have started at a best possible note we can start. We will do this every with all our following women researchers, and we ask you that Shubha ma'am has a way more what we say. We cannot at least I cannot say what are her horizons, because she has done so much of research. And if you feel that you need any guidance from her, you can write email to her. If you want researcher celebrities to put her in contact with them, we are more than happy to help you. And ma'am herself is always there to help all the researcher, as she said, either women or men. So you all are welcome to contact ma'am for that. And one thing at the end of the conversation, which I'll say, is about the attitude. You have seen what attitude ma'am keeps. Results are not working. Okay. This is working. Okay. Everything is okay. So it's just like the last thing, that the bad attitude is like a flat tire. You cannot go anywhere until you change it. So keep following Researcher Celebrity. Thank you very much, ma'am, for sharing the journey with us and being.
Thank you, Raja. Thank you.